Krissys Over the Mountain Crochet and Crafts. And as this was loading and I was getting ready to go live, I was remembering years ago, well, it was only about 3 years ago when I could not even go live. My internet would not allow me to go live. Thankfully, I have Starlink now, even though I live way out in the country, I can go live now. But a lot has been happening on my side of the mountain. I've been mainly working with a Heart Stitch. I've worked with this Heart Stitch about a year after my breast cancer surgery. As you can see, I'm wearing my pink ribbon tee today, and I'll be talking a little bit about chemo caps and things that chemo patients go through. But the biggest thing that I have designed with a Heart Stitch, like I said, I've worked with a Heart Stitch in the past, and a Heart Stitch is fairly easy. There's a little bit of work that you need to do to make it look like a Heart Stitch, but it's fairly easy, and I feel like my YouTube tutorial shows you what to do, but isn't this cute? This is such a simple design. Now, the bottom of this tumbler wrap is tight. The top is loose, and I'll show you how loose it is. It just slides right off, and you can just slide it right back on. Let me show you how easy that is. You just shimmy that up, give it a pull. Whoops, just about dropped it. And it just goes right in place. I get these leather tags at Hobby Lobby, but I like the Heart Stitch. And I got to thinking about the Heart Stitch, and I got to thinking about chemo patients and pink and Valentine's month. And I thought, I want to make a chemo cap that has a Heart Stitch in the chemo cap. And I kept thinking, how can I do that? Because you have to go a certain direction to make it bloom into a heart, right? So it has to be like this, not like upside down like that. So I thought, well, we'll make a turned up brim for the chemo cap. Now, chemo caps, when I design a chemo cap, I'm using a certain kind of yarn. Now, some chemo caps, I don't use a certain kind of yarn, but if I'm making a chemo cap that is going to be close to the head, that is worn for comfort's sake, then I'm using a bamboo yarn or a cotton bamboo blend, which I believe this is bamboo acrylic. This I got at Hobby Lobby. It's called Bambootiful. Bambootiful. But you can tell it's just real flexible. This yarn requires a bit of care. When you wash it, hand wash it and soak it. Don't do a lot of agitating or it'll pill up, and don't run it through the dryer. Lay it flat to dry. If you over process this when washing it, it will lose its beauty. The yarn will lose its beauty. But this is a basic hat that I have as a tutorial up here on the YouTube channel. It's called the Simple Ridges hat. Simple Ridges chemo cap. You can see those ridges. They're really easy to make. But then I added this turned up brim that has little hearts all the way around the brim. Now, I haven't even woven in the ends are not even woven in yet. So, but I'm going to try this on so that you can see what it looks like. Now, when I design, I want to tell you one other thing about this chemo cap, because like I said, I used the base of this design. This chemo cap, I've had a lot of folks comment that, oh, it's too small, and it's not too small. I have it sized well. If you've reached gauge, you have to reach gauge. If you've reached gauge, then it's going to fit. Now, this hat does seem like it's not going to fit at the beginning, but when you get about right here, it doesn't seem like it's going to fit. But if you use this yarn, it will fit. It will especially fit someone who does not have hair. Let me try this on for you. Let me put the stragglies in the back. Get my bangs out of the way. There we go. And I am a medium to a large, and that's what size this is. And it fits. It fits well. My hair's a little messy. Let's get my hair straightened out. But it fits, and it fits well, and it comes down close. A chemo patient wants it close to the ears. Now, some chemo patients have sores on their head, and they can only tolerate certain kinds of yarn. But when I thought I was going to have to go through chemo, I wasn't too thrilled about the fact of having to always wear a chemo cap. I didn't want to look like I was in chemo, taking chemo all the time. I just wanted to look normal at times. So I have a solution, and I've also been watching what other chemo patients do. They'll wear a little tight cap and then a normal cap and maybe a wig so that they can go out in public. So I'm going to show you how well that works. So you take a little bit of an oversized hat. This is one of my cloches. I don't have the crochet pattern for this yet, but look at that. Isn't that pretty? It's got a vintage brooch in it. And then they will put this over top of their chemo cap. And then they can feel a little bit normal. And if you really work with it, you can push it up in there. And then they can feel comfortable also, because some chemo patients might not be able to tolerate this sort of thing on the side of their head, or the yarn might be too scratchy. A lot of people make chemo caps with scratchy yarn, and some chemo patients can tolerate it, but some can't. But if they like the style of the hat, then they'll wear a tight-fitting cap underneath, and it's a good solution. So should you make these type of caps for chemo patients and donate them? I say yeah, because they know how to take care of themselves. They know how to wear something like this so that they have the relief of not having something that heavy or that scratchy next to their head. And actually, this does kind of look cute when you turn the brim down. I like the way it looks, but they don't look like hearts when the brim is turned down. But anyway, and I'm making a cowl to match this. The cowl, chemo patients get very cold. After they've gone through treatment, sometimes their body they feel cold constantly. So I'm making a matching cowl to go with this. It'll have the same kind of ridges that there are in this hat, and then it will have a row of heart stitches kind of along the bottom. And then I'm going to put a button on either side so that they can bring it over, whichever side they want to bring over, and button it so that it can close down. I saw a lady who'd had chemo and she kept going like this. And I asked her, I said, "Are you cold?" And she said, "Yes." And she said it was the chemo that made her just feel so cold. So if you want to help comfort someone who's going through chemo, then use quality yarn. Doesn't have to cost an arm and a leg, but quality yarn. If they're going to wear it as a cap that is very tight to the head. If they're not going to wear it tight to the head and they want something pretty, go ahead and make some of these and donate them to your center. But also consider a cowl or a neck scarf, some sort of something to help them be warm so that they can experience the comfort. But if you're watching, please comment and let me know where you're from. I also wanted to show you another heart stitch design just off the hook. Still has the strings on it. And that's a coffee cozy with little hearts in it. Isn't that adorable? I think I'll decorate this up with ribbons and after I weave in the ends. But it was good to have you on my side of the mountain. I know this was a pop-up. It was good to have you on my side of the mountain. Hey, I have a membership that I have started, and I'd like for you to join. I'll put the information down below. I'll put the information down below when this hat is published. This is a forever free crochet pattern on my blog, but then I also have the YouTube tutorial here on this channel for you to enjoy. All right, well, it was good to have you on my side of the mountain. I hope you are one of those that likes to crochet and donate for chemo patients and for those who've gone through radiation and have certain needs. Just remember, not all chemo patients can handle certain kinds of yarn. They may have sores on their head, or their skin might just be so tender. You know, that feeling you get when you're not feeling good. Anyway, it was good to have you on my side of the mountain. I hope you'll come again soon. Bye.